Today I'd like to talk to you on an alternative method for leveling your table. On the previous video I showed you with the plunger type dial indicator, and some subscribers have got back and said, look, we don't have the facilities to make up even a simple adapter. How can I do it tool free? Well, quite simply. This is another particular type of dial indicator, dial test indicator. So it's actually a lever type, and they're usually used on a lathe or a mill for checking run out, that sort of thing. So you have a shaft and it runs out, and you put that on the lever and it will measure the run out. Usually finer divisions are a lot more sensitive and a lot more critical that you don't damage it. The bearings are only on one way, so you need to just apply force up and down, not too much sideways, or you can damage or even snap the thread on the little shaft. Remove the hot end assembly to show you this is the best time to do it. You haven't got your belts. Notice that with my mods the belts are nice and parallel, so you have no belts in there, as I've explained in the previous video. You measure the height. You can get yourself a dial caliper or a digital readout, and you can measure the height from there to there and adjust it. Now if you haven't got one of these, there's a simple method, as this photo will show you. You can just get two soup tins or two steel tins from the same manufacturer and the same type of product, and they should be the same height, or you can find two lengths of whatever exactly the same height, and then just rest it either end, and that will ensure that it gets parallel. The other alternative, of course, is to get yourself a digital protractor. And as I've said about these before, anything digital, just because it's got 0.1 or 0.01 or 0.00001 doesn't mean to say they're that accurate. Some of them might be plus or minus 1% or 1 degree. So it's plus or minus 1 degree. That means you can measure this and it can say it's 1 degree up. You can measure at the back and it can say it's 1 degree down. 2 degree difference, and it could be perfectly flat. So use these as a guide. The cheaper they are, the more you consider them as a guide. So what you then can do is just place it on the top of your crossbar there and take your reading. Now, if you look at your house and you get a little ball bearing and put it on your tabletop or kitchen top, you'll find it rolls around the place. They're not vertically and horizontally flat and square. But it doesn't matter. This is just to help you guide you when you turn it down. So what's that one reading now? 0.0, 0.01. So when you lower it down, you then just make sure you have the same degree. If it's 0.2, you keep it at 0.2. Again, with your markers, like I've said before, on setting these up in the same position. So you've done that. Now on the inside, these type here have a little dovetail on them and the screw, and the dovetail fits over the slide, and then the screw comes in and locks against the bottom, so that locks it in position. Now the good thing with this one is that it happens to be M4, so you get yourself an M4 screw or all thread, whatever, and you just screw it through. I've got two washers and my one just happens to fit, but you just put a nut above and below, and on the cutout where the nozzle goes you just have a washer, the cutout, another washer, a nut on the bottom, nut on the top. You can just nip them up and it stays in position. So it just fits nice and securely and squarely in the correct position. I've lowered it down till it's just touching. As you can see, it's just touching. Now this particular gauge reads to 0.01, not 0.1 but 0.01 of a millimetre. So each large decimal, 1020, is 0.1 of a millimetre. So it's the same procedure as before, but this time it's a bit easier. And as this direction can be adjusted by these, your main setup point is in this direction. What you do is you come down, you set it up, you move it to the edge and the front point. Then you zero that dial. Then you move it to the back and you take your reading. Now if it's 0.5 of a mil, half a mil, you know that's one full turn. If it's 0.25, you know it's half a turn. So you then adjust that. And like I've said before, when you adjust it, it doesn't go like that, it goes like that. So you backwards and forwards a couple of times. So you get that 0, 0. Then you just come over to the other side and you move that to that side. Then you get that to 0. Then you've got 0, 0, 0. And then you come to the front one, and that still can be up and down. Now that might be higher, lower. So what that means is you haven't got a perfectly flat table surface. So what you might have to do is have this at 0, 0, or 1 and 1, 2 and 2. So you try to level it out the best you can get. Then you come in the middle. Again, if you just watch the gauge, touch it, it moves, lift it up, it moves, put it backwards and forwards, it moves. sideways it moves, so let it steady down. And then you come back into the center again and you take your reading. Now what I found was that, say flat along that surface, then it went up higher, up that end, and higher that end, closer to the screws, maybe distortion from when it was manufactured, that sort of thing. So that's fitted in, and I got the best I could. I've gone over here, I've got the best I could, I've got the best I could, I've got the best I could. But then I noticed the actual center dips. So let's just see what it says here. Point 1, whenever you set these gauges up, it's easy not to put them on 0, because it may go to 1 and go to 1, and when you look, oh yeah, that's still 1. It's not. So set them up, say 2 or 3, and then you know if it's 1, it's gone down to 2, and it's gone up to 4. So that's just a little trick for you. So we go across, point 1, 2.5, almost 1 again. So you can see it's point 1 of a dip there. If we go front to back, it's 0.225. That's zipped up way back the other way. There's 0.2. So in just that short distance, it's gone up 0.1. So as you can see, it's not that flat, but it's the flattest you can get it. And then once you've adjusted those, you lock it in position, engage your steppers, raise your head up, put your assembly back together, and you're set perfectly. Then look at my other videos on how to set up the stop there, little brackets, and the little black hex there, standoff. Comes down and touches. Set it up that way first, then set up your Z height like I mentioned in the other videos, and you'll have no problems whatsoever. So the Black Stallion is progressing quite well. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, tell your friends, spread the word. If you haven't, tell me why not. And as always, thanks for watching.